And we're live. Hey, everybody. It's Thursday night. It's a couple of minutes after 7. So that means it's time for Thursday Night Live at the Gun Shop. And tonight may be the most important episode of this show we've ever broadcast. As people get logged in, as people log on, tag somebody else. We're going to go through some stuff tonight. One, to help you stay safer. Honestly, we're going to talk about some folks within the firearms industry and some things that are going on within the industry. And we're going to call names that, one, put your firearms, your silencers, and your person in danger using their products. And they could do better. And two, we're going to talk about a very large company within this industry that has completely sold out your constitutional rights in mind for their business model. So, you know, you're going to get to hear stuff tonight that most places just will not talk about. And they will not call names because they're afraid of the backlash. They're afraid of who they're going to make mad or whose feelings they're going to hurt. And with some of this, frankly, I don't give a damn who's get hurt. The people that's feelings can get hurt from this broadcast tonight need their feelings to get hurt because they've done a lot to hurt other people. And it's time they're held accountable. How are we looking tonight?
Eric Ferguson says, hey y'all.
Hey,
Eric Rudzinski, listening while mowing. Raymond Dominguez, hey.
Hey, Raymond.
Kev and Kim Warren.
Great to have you guys. So, first,
Don Miller.
hey, John. So we'll start tonight. You're going to notice I'm going to use notes a lot tonight because as important as some of the stuff we're going to cover is, I sat down and made lots of notes. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, right now I am livid. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But I'll guarantee you my blood pressure is through the top of my head.
Yeah. Your face is quite red.
But right now,
And Noel said greetings from sunny Ireland.
hey, Noel, great to have you. We didn't see, I don't think he was with us last week and we missed him.
He was there for a little bit.
Great. Good morning, sir. By the way, somebody said something about we haven't been telling you what coffees we're drinking. Well, tonight, of course, it's Raptor.
I think this is Tom's favorite.
Raptor is my favorite. Now, I think have we ordered the new one yet?
Not yet.
Have we finished the bag art?
Not yet.
Okay, we're working the bag art.
Trying to finish it.
We got we've picked the blend and we've sampled it and it's really good. Stephanie's got to get the bag art finished and sent over. But we'll be bringing out a new one called Sasquatch. A lot of real rich, earthy flavors. Anyway, we'll talk about that when it's here.
Yes.
But tonight we have Raptor. Straight from the Costa Rican rainforest. grown in active volcano soil at the foot of an active volcano. And this is the stuff you drink to keep away the ravenous coffee raptors.
Yes.
Absolutely. So stay alert, stay alive. Raptor.
Yep. There we go.
And it's actually Raptor approved.
Yeah.
You see they even put their claw marks on it.
Every bag.
Every bag. All right, so let's get into tonight's show. We're going to start where I planned on starting. You know, today if we look across the landscape of what's available on the market, it appears ammunition supplies are in better condition than they have been in a very long time. And in part, this is true.
Yeah, we actually have 410.
I mean, it is true. And on a lot of the common cartridges, we've even seen prices go down since their peak during COVID. They're getting closer to pre-COVID pricing.
That's a good thing.
Which is, I mean, who does not like less expensive ammo?
I do.
I do.
As long as it's good ammo.
Well, that's what we're going to get into tonight. Some of what we're going to get into tonight, okay? But you know, I think we had some 9mm in here the other day for,
We still do.
yeah, I mean, just,
$15. Come on, you can.
I think we had some under that at one time.
May have.
So we've seen prices go down. I mean, we're looking at, you know, brass case quality 223 ammo for like $12. Something like that.
It's right over there behind you.
So we've seen prices level off and drop down, and we may see a little more. I know everybody's hollering right now, tariffs. Guys, don't freak out about tariffs. I was talking to a rep today, and he's like, well, we had some price increases because of the tariffs. I'm like, man, cut the crap. There ain't been no tariff on this. Quit trying to use it to go up. He goes, well, I guess we can do some price adjusting for you. Thank you. Now we can talk. Be honest. Tariffs ain't affected you one bit. So when people start giving you that mess, it's just a bunch of mess. There are some people trying to use it. But tariffs ain't near as big a deal as MSNBC and CBS and ABC and CNN and all them folks want to talk about. So a lot of common cartridges have gone down. However, there's a dark side to this. Okay? And that's the fact that there is a problem with powder production. Okay? That is not made up. That's not people trying to manipulate markets. There is a problem with powder production. Comes from multiple pressure points, okay? One is, while there could be as much as 40%, if I believe it, I've got this, and I'm going to reference into this article. It's in Shooting Industry.
And by the way, I saw on there, anybody can
Yeah.
get that magazine.
It's
free.
called The Ammunition Squeeze. It was written by Brian Hendricks. And as I was reading this, and I had already been planning tonight's show, and this literally came in like 2 days ago. And I had already been planning tonight's show, and this article was in there, and I'm like, oh man, you know, you want to talk about just great timing.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that he brings out in here is it's really good. He's interviewing with two different individuals in here, one from Hornady and one from Fiocchi. But I was trying to find, I want to say that production numbers were actually up about 40%. Yeah, Hogg, who's gentleman's last name's Hogg. I don't see his first name here. Works for Fiocchi. Said gunpowder production actually increased 40% over the past couple of years. Okay, that's great. However, it's all going to military contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And very little of that actually comes out to the consumer market. Just to give you an idea, I like the way he starts, that Hendrick starts his article. I'm just going to read directly from it. It takes 21 pounds of M6, takes 21 pounds of M6 or about 24 pounds of IMX 101 smokeless powder to propel a 155 millimeter artillery shell, the primary battlefield fare in the Ukrainian war. All right. So you're burning 21 to 24 pounds of powder every time 155 goes off. And they shoot a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he's just dealing with the Ukraine situation. We haven't talked about Israel. We haven't talked about any of the other skirmishes going on all over the world.
Right.
And you got to have, there's ammunition going to all those. You're talking about U.S. and NATO putting out tons and tons and tons of ammo for these, and the powder comes from somewhere. So that puts that becomes a pressure point. The fact that a lot of our more popular powders are actually made overseas. Things like Runtumbo and Trail Boss, IMR 4895, IMR 4350, the Hodgdon equivalents, many others.
Eric Rudzinski says not to mention the new military contracts with the Saudis.
Yeah. Just another place to crunch the powder supply.
Yep.
So what's it mean? In short, it means that suppliers are looking other places for powders, or some projects get put on hold, or some things become less and less available, and that might drive prices up at some point. Right, it will at some point.
Oh, yeah.
And it's probably going to be most likely first seen in shotgun shells. One of the problems, but we'll get into that. It's what's happening is possibly the biggest powder manufacturer distribution network in the world is St. Mark's Powder Company.
Okay.
Here in the U.S. And the stuff that's going through St. Mark's is tested. It's solid. Okay. I mean, this is they're supplying to everybody. And they're a responsible company that's done a really, really, really good job for many, many years, decades. But what happens when you get into situations like we're in right now is people start going to like powder brokers or customs brokers, and they're looking to buy powder wherever they can get it. And a lot of this is coming out of Eastern Europe, India, some of the Eurasia countries, where we'll say the quality
isn't as good.
Is very questionable. One of the things we've known about Eastern European and a lot of the stuff is in Europe is a lot of the problems they had in war is their damn ammunition was blowing their guns up.
That's a problem.
And it was a powder problem. They had the same thing with rocket-propelled grenades. Had the same thing with missiles. Lots of anything that was running on chemical propellant like that. They've just had problems being consistent. They've had problems keeping it stable. So they're reaching out and they're trying to find other sources of powder. And they, some of the things they look at, and I'm not going to get into a whole class on powders tonight, but they're looking, what's the burn rate? How fast does it burn? What kind of pressure spike does it have? What kind of pressure curve does it have? These kind of things. Okay, so if we're looking at, I don't know, Lovell, I forget Lovell's got one that's basically 1680. Just under a different name, which actually it is 1680, just repackaged. 1680 is the Lovell, just repackaged.
Okay.
You say, okay, I can substitute this powder for that powder. Is that necessarily a bad thing? No, these things happen. What's bad is when you're getting powder, from questionable sources, and you're not verifying everything. You're not doing, if you're going to these places, you have to step up quality control. You have to step up testing. It's got to go to another level because you're dealing with something that's a known. It's a known problem.
Bless you.
It's been a problem for decades.
Correct.
That's why you have to be so careful when you're buying ammunition, surplus, the cheaper ammunition, as to who's you're buying. If you guys can remember, there was a time when you didn't touch any surplus ammo out of Serbia. Look at Kentucky Ballistics. He ended up with a bolt in his throat. Right? That was from
The powder.
Eastern European powder that wasn't stable. He shouldn't have been shooting it in that gun to begin with. But anyway, that's an extreme case, but a realistic case that could repeat itself of what happens with powder coming from some of the sources it's coming from now. And here's the problem. A lot of that powder, it's not going to Winchester. It's not going to Hornady. It's not going to Remington. It's not going to Fiocchi. It's not going to even PPU, for example.
Where's it going?
It's a lot of what we call cut rate companies that's trying to make super, super, super cheap ammo. Okay? I love cheap ammo. It means I can shoot more. Everybody loves to shoot more.
But
there comes a point, everything has a cost, right?
that's true.
So if you're actually selling something for half to a third of what's standard across the market, what's the difference? There's got to be a difference. There's not that much markup, guys.
Quality?
Yeah. How do you get the cost down? Well, in a lot of cases, it's getting rid of quality control. Or if some of these companies actually have a quality control department, they are so what's the word? Inept. So idiotic.
They don't care.
They don't care. They're not there. It's all about how much can we get out the door and how cheap can we get it out the door, and keep a margin and undersell everybody else. I told you I called names. The worst one on the market right now that I know of is AAC, which is owned by Palmetto State Palmetto State. They're blowing primers out the back, rupturing cases. You see ammo coming where they have so little neck tension on the bullet, they're falling out inside the box and powder spilling out. They made a, for example, one of the other things they've done is made a change. They made a change mid-production, didn't tell anybody, started using plated bullets. Well, plated bullets and silencers with inconsistent powder charges are a bad thing, because you end up ripping the plating off going down the barrel, and then you end up with all kinds of silencers getting blown up and baffle strikes or obstructions. Part of the jacket, part of the plating lodges in the barrel becomes obstructions.
Mm-hmm.
So, you won't find that stuff in this store. And if you've got it, I recommend not using it. And if you're going to use it, by all means, please don't use it with a suppressor. I just don't want to see anybody get hurt.
Right.
Ammo Inc. had got to the point that they had gotten the reputation of a lot of this. And, they ended up being sold. Winchester bought in the process of taking over Ammo Inc.
Good.
But they had done not as badly as AAC is doing it. They didn't even get to, but they were having lots and lots and lots of problems, and guns were blowing up. And, so they're bye-bye. They had to sell out.
Mike DeLong says, good evening, Tom.
Good evening, Mike. How are you? And guys, this stuff is dangerous. I'm not here to beat up on a particular company or group of people. I'm here to protect you. I'm throwing this out there to protect you. What you do with the information is up to you. Now, is there good stuff that comes out of Eastern Europe? Actually, if you can get into the CZ ammo, which is hard to find here, some really, really high quality stuff, and it's going to be priced on par or above top line American ammo, but that stuff is amazing. But no, there are some companies that are bringing in lesser expensive ammunition that seem to be doing it the right way. And I will call those names. I think SVT is one of those. Mm-hmm. And SVT is, and then they sell it under a Scorpion.
Yep.
As an exclusive with one distributor. They package it in a blue and white box with a Scorpion on it.
Yep. We've got both over there in the 9mm.
Lots and lots of reviews on it. Hell, I've shot several thousand rounds of it.
Raymond said he's got some old Ammo Inc. Think that it's good.
Don't shoot it through a gun with a can. The Ammo Inc. was primarily blowing out primers. It was pay attention to it when it goes off. Originally I say do it without a suppressor. Don't shoot it with the suppressors. They were getting bad squibs too. So you want to be able to hear the gun.
Right.
And delineate a difference in the noise. So if you hear it, if you hear one that's quite a bit quieter than the one before it, start checking things out. I mean, this is May 15th, 2025. And so in the first 4.5 months of this year, we've probably seen more guns come in blown up from ammo, bad ammo, and this kind of thing than we have in the last 2.5 years or more.
I've been here for 3 years, and I've seen more in the past few weeks.
So, it is a real problem. And I'm giving you information so you can decide what you want to do. But I'm going to use
Kirk P. Smith said hi, Tom.
Who?
Kirk Smith.
Hey, how are you? Let's take, for example, a 223 match round. Say we're using a 77 grain match grade bullet, Sierra Match King, something like that. AAC sells it for about 55 cents a round. Average cost on the market is 80 cents to $1 or so a round.
That's a big difference.
Now, one of the most problematic rounds they have is that one. That's one of the reasons I picked it. So, one of the things I was reading about was a guy that was shooting this stuff. He'd been shooting it. He knew he had problems with it. He knew it was a problem. But he's shooting this stuff, and he's supposedly in a very important match. Well, first off, why are you shooting
subpar ammo?
Why are you shooting the cheapest shit you can get if you're in a very important match? That don't make sense. But his gun went dead. His gun quit working. Stopped. The trigger was dead. Nothing worked. Gets the gun unloaded, everything, gets it opened up. There's 6 primers in his fire control group.
They're not supposed to be there.
Now, would you have rather paid a few dollars more and been able to shoot the match and finish the match and maybe do well, or sit over there with whatever it is you saved trying to fix your gun because your ammo was crap?
Just doesn't make sense.
Okay, you choose. Now, I'm going to take that out to some other things, okay? Where it's not quite as dangerous. I went to the most dangerous stuff first. Okay? Be careful. If it sounds too good to be true, it is.
I mean, that's what my mom taught me.
I mean,
if it sounds too good to be true, it usually
there
is.
are some good buys and some quality buys on the market right now. They are there. But it ain't going to be total match grade ammo. You know, it's going to be range fodder.
Right.
You know, you're also, you know, here's something else we need to look at and think about. Okay? I know good rifle ammo gets expensive. Gets real expensive real fast, guys. Believe me, I know. People think that there's a big markup in ammo, and it's really not. So when we're building rifles and we're going to the range and we're shooting, believe me, we understand the expense. And do I wish there was a cheaper way to do it? Yeah, but I say that to say this. With the powder issues that's out there, okay, there's a lot of companies that quietly shift to a new powder in an old cartridge. What do I mean by that? Hornady, for example. One of their loads has always been a solid performer. You didn't have to worry about it. I mean, this stuff was sound. You went and picked it up, you go shoot it, and it was going to perform. Started getting a hold of some, and it's shooting all over the world. It's not doing it. I mean, it's just like, what the hell? It got to be a problem. Phone call was made, got a hold of somebody that would tell the truth. And he's like, man, we couldn't get the powder that we usually load that with, and we had to change powders.
Makes a difference.
It didn't make the round unsafe. It kept roughly the same velocity, but it was enough difference. It completely changed where everything shot. So that's the things you could see with the big companies where they have to shift
Yeah.
and use a different powder. Or you're looking for a particular load and you're like, why can't I get this? It may be they just can't get the powder. Because a lot of those loads have a very particular powder to reach the points that they want it. You know, they're like 7mm backcountry. You can rest assured that's a proprietary blend of powders they're using to get that 3,000 feet per second and get that pressure up there. So when you buy your hunting ammo, make a point of shooting some. About the cheapest thing we buy, guys, is ammo. If you look at it in a hunting perspective.
Yes.
It don't hurt to go shoot a few shots and see that your gun's shooting where it should. That's a whole lot better than going and shooting a few shots after you've missed or crippled a good animal to find out that it ain't. But I want to read you some stuff I outlined in this article. It says here, consumers are noticing conspicuous shortages of 48.95 and 43.50 powders in the Hogden and IMR lines. Runtumbo and Trail Boss are also scarce, according to Ogler, who works for Hogden. H48.95, H43.50, Trail Boss, and Runtumbo are made in Australia. Shipping them also affects consumer prices. The IMR variants are made in Canada, whose dicey trade relationship with Trump administration that's getting into tariff scares. They're sending it to the damn Ukraine. 43.50 and 48.95 and the like are all extruded powders. Ogler explains. They're in high demand. People want those a lot. The challenge of shipping product from Australia is substantial.
Oh, yeah.
Shipping prices are insane and there's limited shipping space. Some popular powders have been absent from shelves for so long, some consumers believe they are out of production. It's not the case, Ogler said. Trail Boss? We haven't had any Trail Boss for the 5th year.
Wow.
We have not been able to get it made for us. Demand's off the charts right now because we can't get it. Of course, when we haven't been able to get a product for 5 years, demand is astronomical. Then over here, talking about, this is from a gentleman at Fiocchi. Fiocchi has a primer manufacturing facility in Italy. Efficiencies have been done on our end to produce more product. As for the rest of the market, CCI and Winchester are making their own stuff. A lot of it has corrected itself, but there's been some kind of reset. On the other hand, there's no easy remedy to alleviate the shortage of range-ready ammo due to the shortage of nitrocellulose. In January 2024, we had no nitrocellulose to make powder. Hogg said. The manufacturer we do business with had government contracts that needed to be filled before they pushed anything out in the commercial market. There are still issues with nitrocellulose. It has not resolved itself. Ironically, Hogg said gunpowder production actually increased 40% over the past couple of years. Great percentage of it is used for military contracts. The remainder trickles down to the consumer market. With some manufacturers, we've been able to renegotiate contracts with powder suppliers. Hogg said, we're paying in advance for guaranteed delivery. Last year we could get powder, but you didn't know what kind of powder or when it would be delivered.
Goodness.
This uncertainty dramatically affects research and development and delivery of new product. We're trying to get unique powders for specific new product developments, he said. It didn't have an effect this year, and I feel pretty confident about things this year in terms of powder availability. That's for the manufacturers. But some folks are going to struggle to get powder. Listen, this is what we're getting to right here. Smaller manufacturers, if they are still sourcing powder, hulls, primers, shot, might face challenges if they don't have existing relationships or they can't get their hands on powder and other components. Okay, a lot of these places cannot get powders or are not able to get powders through the main channels. That's when you end up with this dicey stuff. So reloading's going to be a challenge this year. The prices are going to stay up for what, for the stuff that can be got. And we'll just have to see where it goes from there. But guys, be careful. We all like less expensive ammo. No doubt. We all like less expensive ammo. Be safe where you get it from. Okay? Because everything in that cartridge has a price. And then the manufacturer's still going to have a margin or going to have a profit margin.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it gets back to if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Yep.
So be careful. I like the way they sum this article up. Even if the Ukraine war ends in 2025, the consumer market probably won't stabilize until the U.S. and NATO replenish artillery inventories. It could take a long time. Remember, guys, that's 21 to 24 pounds per round.
Yeah.
And I know you say, well, that's not 4350 or that's not 4895 or that's not unique. But the nitrocellulose that you need to make them is being used to make this.
Yep.
So what we're looking at is there's going to be stuff out there to shoot. Okay? There's going to be stuff out there to shoot. There's going to be discount ammo, lesser expensive ammunitions that you can buy at a decent price and you can buy at a savings. But be careful in that market because some of it is just plain dangerous. Okay? And if you got current ammo inc stuff, don't worry about it because Winchester's running their quality control now. So the current stuff, you're good. They're not having Winchester's fixing. I think the first thing they did to put in more stringent quality control, from what I understand, for people that work there.
Good.
So the quality, one of the first things that happened as the agreement was being inked and it was a done deal before Winchester even took over, they had new quality control people in the building. So
That's a good thing.
I wouldn't be one of the reasons I didn't really want to get off on Ammo Inc., but they were guilty at one time, and the cost was it cost them their company. but I would not be scared of the stuff they're doing now.
Kirk Smith said that Ray Shot Tack is his favorite 223. Keep him stocked.
Ram Shot Tack is his
Ramshot.
favorite powder.
Okay.
It is a nice 223 powder. And you know, that's one of those powders that it actually comes from overseas. It's a powder that's made overseas. But again, it's coming through a solid company that does lots of testing, lots of quality control with Ram Shot. You know, their powder does tend to be a little less expensive than some of the others. But that's one of those, you know, it's like I said, there are things out there that are a good buy. And the Ram Shot powders for reloaders, I think are powders that fall in there because you got a company that's shown consistency in their quality control.
Yeah.
And the product that they're getting out on the market. Excuse me, guys. So I'm not saying be scared of all foreign powders. If we are, we're not going to be shooting or loading anything.
He said, he corrected himself. He said Ram Shot.
Yeah, Ram Shot Tack. It's a great 5.56 powder. It's a great 223 powder. It's a great powder in 308 up to say 168 grain bullet. It doesn't do real well on bullets heavier than that, but it, like the 168 match bullets with tack, does really, really well. And it's not a real dirty powder. So, you know, that's one I wouldn't be scared of a bit. But when you're looking at loaded ammo and these things, and let's say you're looking at a box of match ammo that's 3/4 of the price of everything else on the shelf, you got to ask yourself, why? Now, if it's a couple of $3 cheaper, even $4 or $5 cheaper, okay, you know, $3 or $4, whatever. What's the difference? Why is it that much cheaper?
There's got to be a reason.
I mean, guys, let's face it, one of the reasons the Eastern Europeans used steel cases for so long and still do is steel is stronger. Steel cases are stronger than brass, and it didn't tend to blow up as bad. Now, moving on. I'm glad we did that part. I was able to calm down just a little bit because I'm going to tell you guys I'm furious. And you will be too when we get through. If you know anybody that cares at all about their personal rights, whether it's First Amendment, Second Amendment, 14th Amendment, I don't care. They need to hear this. We have had an unprecedented opportunity. We have had the best opportunity we've had since 1934 to get headway made on eliminating the NFA. The Hearing Protection Act and the Short Act. We talked about that last week. Man, you guys and everybody across the country did a great job. I mean, Brian Fitzpatrick, who is one of the rhinos, along with David Kushtoff, who sold us out on that one. And I will be honest, I told his staff that I would be saying that live on air in his district. Fitzpatrick actually turned his phones off in all his offices. I will say this, David kept his on. And people were answering the phone. With the Hearing Protection Act and the Short Act, we could have made huge. It would have taken silencers out of the NFA. It would have taken short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, and AOWs. Completely stripped them out of NFA, and called for immediate destruction of all registered records of those.
Mm-hmm. Brave.
However, I will tell you what I was told by. And you know, I really hope he believes this. I doubt it. But I really hope he believes this. I was told that Representative Kustoff had those taken out and would not let those get in the reconciliation bill because he didn't think they could get through the Senate. Or the Senate said, it's not his job. His job's not to worry about what the Senate does. His job is to do what he's representing, what we pay him to do, what we voted for him to do.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the Hearing Protection Act and the Short Act basically got shit canned. The long and short of it. And they put this thing in there where the NFA stays perfectly intact, and the only thing that happens is they take the $200 excise tax off of suppressors. Store-bought suppressors.
Mm-hmm.
If you do a Form 1 because you want to make your own at home, it's still $200.
Mm-hmm.
If you want an SBR or you want an SBS or you want an AOW, it's still the $200, and the registry stays intact.
Yep. Kind of messed up, isn't it?
Now, I have heard and I have talked to his staff, and they keep echoing. They all got the same thing. Going, we want to eliminate the NFA. We hate the NFA. We hate the NFA. We hate the NFA. We hate the NFA. But we can't do this all at once. If you hate the NFA, you hate what it stands for, you just threw away the best chance we've ever had of getting something done. And as infuriating as this is with the politicians, and it is, it's infuriating. Let me tell you what I'm really mad about. If any of you guys got a heart condition, take an extra pill right now. If you got a good bottle of whiskey, it might be time to take a drink. I told Stephanie some time ago, because we've been in this fight when we couldn't talk about it because of other things that were going on, and in some different meetings and different things. I said, there's somebody big within the silencer industry, within our family, within the 2A family, that is trying very damn hard to make sure that the Hearing Protection Act gets trashed. And I had a suspicion, but I've never mentioned it. I don't even think I mentioned it to you. Tonight, this afternoon, Brandon over at Langley Outdoors and Jared over at Guns and Gadgets have finally released the name of the traitor. Silencer Central. You know, the guys that say, oh, we'll mail it right to your house. Okay? Anybody that knows me knows I absolutely hate that company to begin with.
They did me pretty wrong.
because they've done so many people so wrong. It's not the company, I just hate their business practices. And
Exactly.
now I despise them for who they are. See, let me explain something. Their business practice is this. They sell silencers. And you go through their little process on the telephone, on the computer, this, that, and the other. And then when you're approved, they mail your silencer to your house, to you. Okay? Now, if you get rid of the $200 tax on store-bought suppressors, not Form 1, but store-bought suppressors, that increases their business, right? It should increase their business,
Oh, yeah.
right? But if you pass the Hearing Protection Act, it destroys their business. Because now it's not an NFA product. Now it becomes, what is it, Title II. It's just like, it would be like walking in here and buying a shotgun. You walk in, you fill out your 4473, background check, telephone, just like normal process. You pick your silencer up and go home. They could not do their mail it to your door. It completely eliminates that business model. So, if you want to go and look at where they have spent money lobbying, go to Tactical Shit. That's the name of it. Tactical Shit News. Go to Guns and Gadgets. The forms that they have to fill out when they spend money to lobby and how much they spent and what they were lobbying are there. They're there. So what this amounts to is they could care less about the Constitution of the United States. They could care less about your rights. All they want is for you to give them your money so they can continue to screw you over. That's Silencer Central, people. It's time to make them go bankrupt. I mean, one of the first things I said in a meeting that I had with people gathering information on this some time ago is, hey, look, if the Hearing Protection Act passes, it's going to impact our bottom line.
Yeah.
And the question was like, how? I said, one of the things that we sell is service, getting people through their NFA process. People come because they love the way Stephanie gets them through the NFA process and helps them. And so when you do away with that, we lose one of our trump cards. However, I will gladly tear that trump card up and burn it and scatter the ashes if we can get this Hearing Protection Act passed.
Yes.
In a heartbeat. Because you know what? We can compete anyway. We can still sell silencers, and we can support our rights.
Exactly.
It's not about business. It's about the Constitution of the United States and the rights of the people. And that's what people like Brian Fitzpatrick and David Kustoff and Silencer Central can't understand. So when you guys read the left-wing media, they're trying to make it so easy to get suppressors and do this and do that. No, all they did is took tax off. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Let's say that goes through and passes. For a little while, you're going to be a suppressor tax-free. The next time a Democrat gets control of the budget, they've already said what they're going to do. It come out yesterday. They've adjusted the $200 for inflation. It's something over $4,000, and that will be your new federal excise tax on silencers.
Yep. John Miller said the Second Amendment community is a tight-knit community. They just shot themselves in the foot.
I hope they're bankrupt in the next month. They're out there doing damage control right now. They're sending out emails to anybody on their damn email list. But go look at the receipts of where they spent their money lobbying. That you can't argue with.
Nope.
They've got pre-programmed things so when you call in, because apparently their phones are burning up. I think they really thought that they'd be able to hide. Or they thought we were so stupid, that the American people were so stupid that we would go away. Oh, we don't have to pay the $200 tax. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, rhinos. And we're not that stupid.
No.
Because that's going to be a very temporary thing, guys. I mean, the little Democrat press conference yesterday proved it. As soon as they get, and eventually they will get control again, you watch and see, we'll wish we had the $200 tax stamp, because they'll adjust it for inflation from 1934 forward to that point.
It could be thousands.
And put it in as a line item.
Mm-hmm.
Because all we did there is just showed them how to do it. All they did, all these damn rhinos did, is showed the Democrats how to do it once they get power back. This has been a disastrous week for Second Amendment rights, and one of the biggest saboteurs is said to be the biggest online seller of suppressors and one of the top 3 biggest manufacturers of suppressors. Their money's a lot more important than your rights.
That's what they think.
That's what their actions say.
Yeah.
This is one, guys, there can't be forgiveness, there can't be reconciliation. They got to go away. Got to go away. Are we getting anything?
John said you would have to finance the NFA tax.
Just nobody would buy anything.
No.
I mean, all the people, all of that would just go away, because they'll put the price will be so astronomical.
No, it'll make everybody bad people.
Then I hear people say, "Oh, well, can't we try to take up the Hearing Protection Act or the Short Act as independent legislation?" Yeah, we can, but let me tell you something. Putting it in the reconciliation package and getting it into the Senate means the Democrats can't filibuster it. When you put it as a standalone and you get it over in the Senate, you got to have 60 votes to bust a filibuster, and you're not going to get them.
Nathan Smith said, well, I totally agree, but definitely with my experience in politics, more than one suppressor company behind it, in my opinion. But I could totally be wrong.
No, I don't see the suppressor manufacturers. And if you go and look at GOA, you will see all the suppressor manufacturers that signed on in support of the Hearing Protection Act.
Mm-hmm.
Silencer Shop, Silencer Central's competitor, was one of the biggest proponents, pushed the hardest.
Yep.
Tried to work to rally troops to pass the Hearing Protection Act. Silencer Co. The manufacturers, it's for a suppressor manufacturer, the Hearing Protection Act would be the greatest thing that ever happened.
See, Silencer Central is a manufacturer as well.
I know.
And they're...
But it's going to destroy their business on
because
their
of
big
what
business.
they've already done. Right. John says we need to vote them out.
I agree. But you know, here's the sad thing, John. The people that hold the money in the Republican Party and the people that actually hold the power are going to keep them in, regardless of what the rest of us want. I mean, you know, Brandon Langley over at Langley Outdoors is offering free airtime for anybody that'll primary Kushtoff. But who knows? All I can tell you is this, guys. It's been a bad week for the Second Amendment. Been a bad week for the Second Amendment. And we got people like Silencer Central doing what they're doing and doing what they've done. It makes it really hard on the rest of us. So whatever you do, please don't buy Banish. That's with a B. Banish, not
Spanish.
with a B, which is their brand.
And there's a few YouTubers out there, gun tubers.
That are all about them.
Oh, yes. Some of the big ones. Well, they probably got them for free.
We'll see how, you know, we're going to probably see some of those guys out there defending them. But like I said, go look at their lobbyist filings and look at the money they paid, who they paid it to, and what it was for.
John said it's about as bad as what Bud Light pulled not long ago. Great way to destroy your business.
I hope it burns them to the ground.
We all know they're not my favorites.
But
I've
you know,
not had
here's
good
the thing:
experiences with them.
could there be other forces, other people that come out later? Yeah, and we'll call them out with just
That's
as
right.
much venom. But if you really, you know, if you stop and think, if you can see inside the industry and see how things work, it's to the majority of the other than Silencer Central and their brand. If you take these off the NFA, think of the market it opens to them. Think of the size of the market that just opened. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. You know, if you think of, you know, I'm sure there's some individuals that may be in the retail side that don't want to see that go away because they want to keep more retailers out of it. Hopefully those folks go away. You know? But it's hard to see very many interests outside of certain retail establishments, which of course is what Silencer Central is, that would really want to see it, the Hearing Protection Act, fail. Personally, I would love to see it, you know, so people come in, they want to get a suppressor, great, we grab it off the counter, we do whatever we got to do with the 4473, if it's like buying a regular gun, and send you home with it. That's how it should be. Shouldn't even need the 4473.
Nathan Smith asked where they were located. They're in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They operate in 42 states.
Uh-huh. What are they worth?
I don't know. Not very much to me.
Estimated revenue of $13.9 million
We need to make that a negative 25 million. And again, if we come up and can bring the receipts and know that other people within the industry were supporting it, let's call them out and go after them. Absolutely, 100% for it. But we talked about the crappy side of the gun industry and the people that could care less about you or your rights. So, you know, and some of these are considered heroes of the people.
Mm-hmm.
So they do such a great job marketing, and the whole time they're shoving a knife in your back.
You know what? I posted a sale earlier today. It was today only. I think we should continue it through the weekend.
No, talking about the hearing protection?
Yeah, the hearing protection we've got right over there.
Yeah.
They're normally $39.99, and we're selling them for $25.
And that's the electronic with the microphones.
Yes.
And I got a special buy on them, actually.
Yes.
But anyway, guys, be careful with your ammo. Understand that just because there's things on the shelf don't mean it's always the same. Inspect what you expect. And
Nathan said them and silent politicians and others have been doing the same thing for years.
you're
It's
right.
ridiculous.
But hopefully now we can call them out and maybe get. We've made enough noise now that they've actually got people thinking about reopening that. Was looking at possibly reopening the reconciliation package and putting the hearing protection act and short act back in, but it hasn't happened, and I don't see it happening. I think they went ahead and voted it through or something. So just understand something, guys. This little $200 tax relief on store-bought suppressors
Only.
is not a win.
No.
It's actually a kick in the teeth, and it's maybe even the beginning of the end for the NFA, for us being able to even get the stuff. And I don't mean to be a negative Nancy. I don't want to be. But you guys need to know. And we need to get the word out. And we need to put pressure on people. And we need to make them stand up and listen. So, now, with all that said, let's look at a cool gun. Hand me the Goonie. This is, where does it say Goonie on it?
It doesn't.
Well, where'd that come from?
It came off the, it's what it's named, the upper.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the Goonie.
Okay, well, they tell me this is called the Goonie. We got the upper from CMMG out of Missouri, and built up a nice Spikes Tactical lower, and in 338 ARC. So since we had the name of the upper is apparently a Goonie, we had to put it on a Pirate lower.
Exactly. And I still think y'all need to name it what I suggested.
Which is what? Oh, One-Eyed Willie?
One-Eyed Willie. He was the pirate in Goonies.
If you get the reference. This is a cool little gun. It's 338 ARC, 10.5-inch barrel, threaded. We did the testing on it. Shoots really well with both the super and the subsonic quantity stuff.
Awesome.
Comes with of course, the CMMG upper comes with the adjustable gas block. Really, really, really cool gun and a really cool cartridge.
And I really love what it says on there.
Our plunder and parlay.
Yes.
Um, you know, we can take this gun and basically do about anything that an 8.6 Blackout would do.
Uh-huh.
And a much smaller, easier to handle package.
The one thing people have said that have picked that up, they were surprised how light it was.
It's just a typical AR. It's,
Adrian's asking, how are CMMG's barrels?
you know, it's not a Craddock. But it's not a bad barrel. It's not a bad barrel. I think these uppers, if you just buy the uppers, are maybe upper 800s, 900s, something like that, for the complete upper. I mean, bolt carrier, charge and handle everything. Ready to bolt. So, considering it for what it is, yeah, I think they do fine for a knock around gun, which is basically what this would be. But is it the quality of one of Paul's barrels? Probably not. But we are a little prejudiced.
We are.
Maybe just a little.
Just a little bit.
Our coffee cup tonight provided by Craddock Precision. But it's not. Their barrels aren't bad. I've never had an issue with one of their barrels.
We use a lot of CMMG products, do we not?
Adrian, you and I got you spoiled to Craddock, just like I am. But it's a tempting gun to take home. That will be fun. So, if anybody's interested in the 338 ARC, we do at least have one in the store right now. And we do have ammo to support it.
Adrian said, quiet, spoiled.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, guys, I thank you for letting me rant tonight. Hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully you'll understand a little bit more. Yes, we're seeing ammo. Yeah, we're going to see ammo on the shelves, I think. Just be aware it may not be what we're used to, even if it's in the same box. In those cases where it's a major manufacturer, just shoot some and make sure you're getting the same point of impact and all that stuff. Because there may be some subtle differences. And they're not going to make a major news announcement or something if they switch powders out. As far as on the uber cheap market, just buyer beware. Know there's some stuff out there that's really, really dangerous. To your gun, to your equipment, and to you. And, we've been thinking about doing this and trying to get things together to do this and figure out how to approach it for some time, because we keep seeing more and more and more guns coming in damaged from ammunition.
That Glock that came in last week just blew my mind.
That was user error.
Well, yeah.
But we're seeing lots of squibs.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of stuff with squib loads where, it's just they're not, the quality control's not running. And people are getting squibs and they're shooting around behind it and blowing guns up. Seeing out of spec brass.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of different issues. So just understand in a lot of cases, well, there is stuff on the shelf. And if you're staying with the big guys, you're probably good. If you're staying with some, if you're staying with PMC or is not seeming to be having problems, we're not seeing any problems out of the SVT stuff. Several others. But understand it's buyer beware in that market, and there's stuff out there that's bad for you. And with that said, what?
We can't forget TFA and GOA.
Oh, that's true. GOA.
You have talked about them a lot through this, but
GOA's been leading the fight, and TFA's been right there in a support role on this Hearing Protection Act thing, and the argument that was lawsuits that are going on here in the state, and they continue to stay active supporting us, so we need to support them. If you're not a member of TFA or GOA, you should be. That's Gun Owners of America and Tennessee Firearms Association. If you're not a member, you should be. Both have events coming up in September for TFA. We'll have, this is 30 years. This is the 30th anniversary. So it'd be, I think, early in September.
we'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be there. It's early in September. It's a one-day Saturday event. Starts like 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. It's in Lebanon at the Wilson County Fairgrounds.
September 6th.
September 6th. This year's keynote speaker will be General Michael Flynn.
Yep.
And then August
9th and 10th.
9th and 10th will be Goals. That's GOA's event. It's kind of like a SHOT Show or an NRA show or something like, if you've never been to one of something like that. Huge. It's going to be a big event. I think I'm hearing over 200 vendors. It's in Knoxville, there at the Sundome. And
John Miller said he's glad someone's looking out for our best interests.
it will be a great show, a good time. This is a show, it's only its second year, so these are the ones you want to go to, guys, when you're young like this. Because there's always it's always a little more excitement there. There's always a little more, it's just different. And those early shows, when things like this are first getting started, are the ones you usually have the best memories from. And don't seem like a lot of the people are as uptight, and it's experience you should have for yourself.
You are correct, Adrian.
What's that?
So you got to book a hotel soon.
Yeah, we do. Real soon.
Extremely soon.
All right, anything else I'm forgetting?
That's it. That's all I can think of.
All right, guys. With that said, I thank everybody that's here tonight. Everybody's going to be listening over the next few days. We appreciate you guys, and thank you for tuning in. And for those on the YouTube channel, which we will be uploading this one to the YouTube channel.
Tonight, as long as I don't have technical difficulties like I did last week.
To all you guys, thank you for watching. We're a fairly young channel. And, any of you folks that, I don't know what is it they all say. I'm not one of these that get on there and beg for folks to do stuff, but what is it?
Just like and share, come on.
Like, share, subscribe. I don't know what
There
it
you go.
is.
Yes.
Make the bell ring, whatever the hell. I don't know.
You don't know about that bell, huh?
I don't know. But if you guys do that, I think they say if you leave a comment, it gets us in the algorithm better, and more people get to see it and hear about it. So.
Insults are welcome as well.
If you want to go, hey man, you look like an ugly ape, go
That's
ahead.
Fine.
It's fine. It's fine. I know. But anyway, guys, thank y'all all so much, and we appreciate you. And you know, we do this for you guys. I hope tonight's helpful to somebody or a lot of somebody's, or you know, maybe save somebody's gun or their silencer or their eyes
Or their life.
Remember, down with Silencer Central, burn the tyrants. As always, God bless America. God bless you.